Remember, our benchmark oil price for our 2019 budget is $60. Oil was at $75 in April, and it's dropped what about 20% since then. Mr. Trump is to blame mostly because of the tariffs he's threatening to impose on Mexico, also the ongoing issues with China.
Yes.
Apparently, energy analysts are saying that this could cause economic slowdown, which could actually affect demand for oil on international markets. Saudi Arabia came out the other day saying that they were trying to, usually they release, they'll come out with a release, a press release or whatever, and said, okay, don't worry, we're doing what we can to pump up the markets. And sometimes it works. The oil markets ignored them. So it's
Because they don't have the monopoly.
yeah, look, they don't. It's not like before. I think 50% of oil supply, global oil supply, comes from OPEC countries and then America and Russia. So it's not just Saudi Arabia anymore. But look, it's worrisome. Markets are a little skittish right now, but we just have to keep monitoring the situation. So again, crude oil $61.66, perilously close to the $60 benchmark budget price that we have. The latest installments of the Abacha loots.
Yesterday when I saw this story, I thought to myself, so what was the plan? Was it to sell the whole country? How much more
exactly
do we not know about?
It's amazing. I have to do a little reading on this. So when I saw it, so the states where this money was kept is called Jersey. I thought it was New Jersey in America, but it's not.
One.
Yeah, it's it's Jersey is apparently one of they call them the Channel Islands, which is off the coast of Great Britain and between Great Britain and France, and they are crown dependencies. So they're a special type of state. There's Jersey, there's Guernsey, and there's another one called the Isle of Man or Maine or something like that. But anyway, they have their own independent states. They've got a prime minister. They set their own rules. But when it comes to issues of foreign affairs and defense, the United Kingdom is the one that steps in. So they are, it's a part of the monarch or whatever. Yes. I think a lieutenant governor represents the queen in these areas. But essentially, the money was put in there by a company in the bank account of a company called Doraville Properties Corporation, which was incorporated in the British Virgin Islands. And as most people know, the BVI, the British Virgin Islands, is an offshore tax haven.
Yeah.
And lots of
just
rich
like
people.
Swiss.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The Swiss. The one is that there's lots of confidentiality between individuals that put money in Swiss bank accounts. But generally, the British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands, areas like that, tax havens where you can avoid taxes in your home country, and also there's lots of secrecy. It was in the bank account of that particular company. So the Jersey government, they said they approached the United States back in 2007 to request legal proceedings on how to deal with the funds that were laundered. I think America even knew about it. As Jonathan said famously years ago, America will know. So they froze, the royal courts in Jersey froze the funds in 2014. The company Doraville Properties Corporation has been trying to appeal since then to get the money out. They've rejected it. They took it all the way to the Supreme Court. Anyway, so it's to the tune of about 211 million pounds sterling, which if anybody wants to convert that's about 98 billion naira. That's money that Nigeria could use. So here's a quote from the Attorney General Robert McRae of Jersey. He said, in restraining funds at the request of the United States of America, through whose banking system the funds were laundered prior to arriving here in Jersey, and in achieving the payment of the bulk of the funds into the Civil Asset Recovery Fund, Jersey has once again demonstrated its commitment to tackling international financial crime and money laundering. Now, I was like, okay, this is all very well and good. But until I read up that there are Civil Asset Recovery Fund is their own fund that they set up for projects in their country. Now, they're not going to use the money. However, they plan on sharing the money.
Yes. So when I saw the part of where they use the word distributed,
yes,
they said they're planning to find ways to actually synergize to see among these countries to find ways to distribute our money.
Why? I mean, I was like,
so my reaction was, hello.
We need this money
from Nigeria. So
exactly.
Why do we have to share it?
Exactly. And
I mean,
you've been eating interest on that money. You've been giving loans, proprietary funds, trading.
Using the colloquial term, last.
We
can give you interest.
Exactly.
for holding the money. Okay, you want us to pay demurrage? Fine, let's pay. But it is our money.
And America is sharing in the money. What does America want to do with 200 million? I don't know, it's about 220 or 225 million dollars in the country. What are they doing with the money? Anyway.
Policies.
But look, remember last year the Swiss, they gave us, it was 300 million that they returned to us last year. That's 300 million dollars. This is now another equivalent of 200 and something million dollars again. I mean, you wonder how much is out there. But anyway, they said they're not going to disclose how the money is going to be distributed between the three of them. But I sure hope the Nigerian government is able to negotiate something.
Yeah.
Moving on from that. Non-performing loans for the first quarter of the year. Yesterday, we were talking about point of sale transactions slowing down from the fourth quarter of last year to the tune of about, 258 billion, falling to Q1 2019. And we're seeing the same thing with non-performing loans, which is pretty good. Basically, if you look at the non-performing loans for last year, so in we're talking about the financial sector here. In Q1 2018, we had 2.18 trillion naira in non-performing loans. In the second quarter of 2018, it fell to 1.9 trillion naira. Then it grew to 2.24 trillion in the third quarter, and then declined again to 1.79 trillion in the fourth quarter. So as of the first quarter of 2019, that figure has fallen again to 1.6 trillion naira in Q1. So this is good news. Again, non-performing loans are the loans that, of course, the banks give out and they can't recover back. Folks are not paying those loans back. So essentially, it's good news when you see the total figure of non-performing loans falling, because that means that, theoretically, more credit can be extended to private sector businesses and so on in the economy. It also increases confidence in the economy that loans are being recovered. However, I say theoretically because, Valentine, have we gotten credits from any of the banks? We still haven't. So there's still the issue. There's still the whole issue of the crowding out of the private sector because the banks prefer to buy treasury bills and so on from government. So if you're earning high interest from them, why risk lending money to myself or businesses? But still, it's encouraging to see the figure fall.
All right. So Tayo from Ikeja sent in this WhatsApp message. It says, "Good morning, guys. Isn't Abacha kind? Once in a while, he just sends us pocket money to cool off. I guess they need to search the moon properly. There must be some billions locked there too."
Oh my gosh.
Bring a Kamusa as well. So when is the president going to announce his cabinet, or who are the people to drive the next level agenda? Okay, he moves on to say how much of the Abacha loot recovered have been expended for public good, and how much is left to be recovered. It seems the Abacha loot is our most dependable bank account, always coughing up money.
Thanks for that, Benga. In fact, shout out to, if I didn't address your message, shout out to Benga. Benga sent me a tweet yesterday. You folks out there should read this op-ed from Pat Utomi in the Vanguard. He called it internally generated poverty. Benga tweeted me about it. He was basically talking about how regulators in Nigeria are affecting the business environment. He was talking about various investments that he made over the years. A regulator would just step in and shut it down. So Pat Utomi was pretty much lamenting the fact that regulators in Nigeria can overextend their reach and affect investment. So thank you for that, Benga. To his message, look, India, they just had their own, what's his name? Modi? Mr. Modi just won elections there. He's already announced his cabinet. Sharp. Immediately. His cabinet was ready. No time.
48 hours, everything
sharply. The man's cabinet was ready.
4 months after.
Well, Nigeria was still waiting. Inauguration
speech. Ugo from Surulere sends the message, says Rotus decline in NPLs. NPL is majorly due to write-off of bad loans, not repayments.
Well, there's a portion of that. I mean, yes, there's also there's a portion of those figures that are attributed to provisions after you've made provisions. Yeah, but I don't think it's the entire figure. Still, it has to be commended at some point. At some point, it does have to be commended. And in fact, doubling back to my the first story we dealt with, oil prices dipping. Still remember that a lot of these loans were made to the oil and gas sector, and with prices crashing in 2014, a lot of these companies weren't able to pay back because they had already believed that they were going to be, oil was going to be at $100 and something per barrel, and they'd be paying that back. So there's that issue. But that is a good point. I mean, some of this. some of it is attributed to write-offs where they're saying that we can't get this money back.
That's right. Feel
Yeah.
free to plug in on YouTube. We're streaming live, youtube.com/smooth91FM Lagos.
Yes, indeed. All right. Who are the big boys and big girls who want to invest in the federal government's 15 billion sovereign green bond? Got some figures here on what they're actually looking for. The Series 2 green bond, which we talked about, I think, last week, is supposed to be for the environment, cutting down greenhouse gases,
Yes,
stuff
emissions.
like that. Yeah, projects in that renewable energy field. So the subscription window for the green bond closes next Monday on the 10th. And if you want to invest, the let's see now, the minimum subscription is 10 million naira.
Wow.
Oh yeah, 10 million naira, and not bad at all. The interest is like the coupon is actually higher than the last one that they issued. The last one was 13.4%. I believe this one is 14.4, between 14.4 14.5. It is backed by the full faith and credit of the federal government of Nigeria, so you don't have to worry about they'll use maybe the Abacha loots to pay you back, or they'll print money. But it's again,
but you get paid.
You'll get paid back.
Definitely.
Yes.
Rainmaker sent in a message. He says, "This Abacha money no dey finish. Unfortunately, we the masses do not feel the impact of the repatriation. If Abacha money can still be this much and be and still be of good value for years since he left office, how much exactly did we lose to him being president?" Darlington says, "Good morning.
Good morning.
Uncle Abacha has passed on over a decade and still sending credit alerts to his countrymen, women, boys, and girls.
It's amazing.
Isn't he an icon?
It's amazing. And we still don't. We could discover another amount next year, later this year. We just don't know. We've suffered.
We really need to take care of this corruption.
We have suffered
once and for all. Beyond words.
I tell you. Okay, finally, Apapa. I think I mentioned that credit.
Yes,
the traffic. So they're saying that LASMA and the other agencies that the federal government has mandated to go out there and clear those trucks. They're saying that, okay, one, the trucks are too closely packed together and they can't fit tow trucks. This is all business day. I was reading business day. We were talking about it. They said they can't fit any tow trucks in between them to be able to tow them out. That's one. You guys should see Valentine's look that he's giving me right now. It's confused. That's one issue. Two, they said that they're overwhelmed and that they don't even have enough tow trucks and that they have to depend on private tow trucks to move them.
Depend on them.
Yeah, but you see, the private tow trucks are saying, "Oh, God, we're not going to move any trucks until you pay us up front." And I don't blame them.
Makes sense.
I don't blame them. So there's a capacity issue. They're also talking about where to park them. So look, if you drive that area, I know today is a public holiday, so it's probably free. Since the declaration or since the ultimatum, has the Papa freed up? If you're out there, maybe doing Freshly Pressed or other shows, you can let us know from time to time. But
I think we're tired of problems. We're tired of complaints. We want solutions. We just want to see things happen.
What's my own with tow truck? Go and buy tow trucks. So go and fix the problem. What's my own?
If they're too tightly packed together, tell them to shift.
Yeah, tell them to shift and make it happen. So that's what's going on.
Pay the private guys. Let's get this done.
I'm telling you.
Many other climes, government engages private companies to solve problems.
Exactly. So look again. Say the president gave was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks to clear that place? So
it was 72 hours.
Oh, it was 72 hours. The time has passed. So it's still the issue remains.
All right. Let's stay tuned. Smooth 98.1. Check out Rotus on Twitter at Rotan Quotes.
Yes.
7:30 will be time for us to go into detailed analysis of our newspaper stories. This morning we'll see the effects or consequence of fake news as has affected Nigeria's relations with Ghana in some way.
Terrible.
We'll check that out at 7:30. Join us then.
All right. Thank you. Sammy Sam. Thanks.